Everyone, so I wanted to discuss practice set A for chapter 3. So for chapter 3, start with PSA 3.1. We go over mandatory and voluntary deductions. There's a few questions here that can be found on page 85, which covers mandatory and voluntary deductions here. For the second part, what you do is look at the next page. We're calculating the taxable income for federal income tax withholding, Social Security tax, and Medicare tax. So if you look at page 85, that covers that. Federal income tax withholding is collected by the federal government to fund a wide range. It's a small percentage. There's also a few that's exempt from tax, but I don't think that's covered. You also have the Social Security tax. That's, I believe, you have to figure out how much is being taxable. This tax is subject to an income threshold, so keep in mind that's only 6.2% of the first 132,900 that is earned during the year. As for the Medicare tax, that's calculated as 1.45% of all employee earnings. And so that's on page 85, as I just mentioned. In this assignment, you have to deduct any contributions. We're holding different percentages of gross pay, so make sure that you subtract that amount before you figure out the taxable income for income tax, Social Security tax, and Medicare tax. For part PSA 3.3, we once again figure out the federal income tax withholding here. We use the wage bracket method. So that's one of the methods here. As you can see, that's available in Appendix A for the federal tax tables, depending if they're single, married, and whatnot. These are the percentage tables that'll be covered later on, but we also have the wage table here, wage bracket. So use the wage bracket method in this case to calculate the federal income tax withholding. Make sure to round the intermediate and final calculations to 2 decimal places, as you can see here. Let me know if you have any difficulties or if you want a larger margin of error. I'm more than happy to help anyone to figure out this type of federal income tax withholding you see here. As for the percentage method, that's the second method you'll be using to calculate federal income tax. That is also available in Appendix A, as you see here. You're single and you over a certain income. There are different amounts and percentages that need to be looked over. That is also discussed in Chapter 3. If you look over Chapter 3, that is also covered. So let me see. I'm trying to look for the page. So yes, we're covering federal income tax withholding. This is one of the withholding tables. You can look over the different information bi-weekly. The percentage method is covered here, the different details. What you do is multiply the number of federal withholding allowances. You subtract that from step 1. Then you use the percentage method table here to figure out the federal income tax that's withheld. That is on page 92 for the details. As for the wage bracket method, as I mentioned, that's in Appendix A. You figure out the federal income tax withholding using the wage bracket tables. So if I look over other parts, let's see, you use both this case, calculating the federal income tax, both the wage bracket and percentage method. And here, you'd have to calculate the state income tax withholding 5% of taxable pay here. So you'd use the federal tax in Appendix A, as I mentioned. Feel free to ask me any questions. I know there's also the payroll register. Also, stay tuned for more videos. I'll be going over how to calculate um, income tax withholding individually, federal, state income tax methods using the wage bracket method and the percentage method in the future. So stay tuned for more videos. Also, once again, feel free to email me or ask me questions or visit me during my office hours, Thursday 9 to 12:30. As I mentioned, um, I'm available on Thursdays, and also feel free to set appointments outside of those days and times. And thank you for watching.